Welcome everybody from all around the world. It's so great to have you joining live. In the comments, why don't you let us know where you are joining from? In the chat, in the comments, which Aaron is moderating, let us know where you are joining from. And we've got a team of people to answer all of your questions there in the chat. So if you've got a specific question for this live today, it might be a personal question, it might be a collective question that is relevant to a lot of people, why don't you ask away and introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know where you are tuning in live from. I love hearing from you, and I always read all of the comments constantly, so I'm always engaging with you. We're going to share now just a little clip from Dolores Cannon. A lot of you know Dolores Cannon trained and taught me, and I, like many other people, continue her legacy, the wisdom that she left, and I want you to listen to this.
So what if somebody has hurt you? So what if your parents treated you bad as a child? Or you had bad marriage? Let it go. Release it. We don't need it anymore. It's time to move on. Let go of all the things that'll hold you back. Forgive the people. Release them. And then let go of fear. And we can move into a totally new dimension of love, and that is where everything is. We have to let it go. It's not useful anymore. We've got to move into a totally new dimension that's going to be amazing to people when they get there. And the whole new world is going to be based on love. If you have love, there will be no violence, there will be no wars. It's a whole new direction, and it'll take a lot to turn people around. But that's why I travel so much all over the world, so people can get this message.
What a beautiful message from Dolores. Let go. Our emotions, unless we release them, are going to build up in our energetic body. If stored for long enough, they will eventually not only cloud our perception, but they will also toxify the body, because everything is energy. Releasing is something we're not really taught how to do. Often we hold on, or we resist. Through many ancient wisdom traditions, we're taught the concept of welcoming, and then we're being invited to then let it go. What Dolores Cannon is pointing toward here is letting go of all of those things that you've attached to, you've identified with, that perhaps have given you a sense of self. She's inviting us to let it go. And letting go, you might say, I don't know how to let go. We don't need, rather, to know how. We just have to be willing. And if I was to drop any object, I'm gripping this phone right now tightly, and if I was simply to be willing to let it go, I would open my hand, and I won't do this because I don't want to damage my iPhone. All I do is need to release. And when I release, it naturally drops away, drops down. This is the exact process of letting go of unwanted emotions, resistance, anything in our lives that's holding us back, that's keeping us stuck and attached to what we're identifying with. I'm going to talk today about who we really are, who you are. And I'm not talking about this physical body or this mind that we're perceiving through. I'm talking about the real you. The you that has no beginning has no end. The formless. The aspect of yourself that animates. Let me use this analogy now. When we're in a car, it's our vehicle, providing a ride from A to B, wherever we want to go. And when you occupy a car, you aren't the car. You might be driving or the passenger of the car, but you aren't the vehicle. It's exactly what our bodies are like. They are just a container of what I point to, which is awareness, or your true nature. You see, the more we identify with that, what we really are, the more joy we're going to experience, the more open we are to receiving an abundant life. We begin to flow with life rather than holding on and resisting. See, resistance comes when we're unwilling to let go. And like my iPhone demonstration, it's a simple act of opening up, allowing, and releasing. And you're going to hear me share a lot more about this method as weeks go on. Because I have found for myself, by having a method to work with, we can easily let go of all that no longer serves us. And we can experience our true nature. We can identify with that aspect rather than all of the form, all of the suffering that keeps us in a perpetual loop or within suffering. I've come to learn that all suffering is a choice. And you can be happy and free all of the time. And at any given moment, you can choose to release or hold on. I'm going to be teaching this concept. I'm going to be showing you how. And I'm just welcoming all of those people in the chat that are watching. Hello to all of you. Now I have a direct line with Aaron, so he is letting me know some of the highlights, some of the questions. We'll be covering those questions later on in this stream today. Today we're going to be doing a bit of a teaching. And before we get into that, I want to read you just a little quote that I read during my meditation time this morning. Thoughts become things. Perhaps you've heard me say that. Ask for what you want by merely thinking about it, and immediately the universe sets about moving people, circumstances, and events for you to receive it. Your only job is to keep holding it in your mind until it's in your hand. See, we get what we think about. What we perceive as the physical world isn't physical at all. Quantum physics now verifies this ancient concept that we really are living in Leela. Leela is described as the divine play in Hinduism. Or within Buddhism, it's Maya, illusion. Some more modern, contemporary spiritual teachers have said it's a dream or a simulation. See, you are divine. You are limitless. You are pure awareness. You are consciousness. And pure divine awareness consciousness is playing Leela. It's taken on a persona. What does a persona mean? It comes from the Greek, which is person, or persona. In the English is person. It is like a mask that we see life through, and yet it's this awareness that comes through into the physical. Now that is your true nature. That is who you are beyond your physical form. The good news about that is once you drop the mask and the identity, you enter the limitless state. So you get a choice. You can be limited or you can be limitless. You get what you identify with. Now I'm going to read you this in just a moment. But before I do that, let's watch this. I've come to learn that as human beings, we're pretty much all alike. We have desires, we have dreams. But the number one desire is to be happy. What do you think that is? Above all else, we desire to be happy. We desire to be happy because it is our natural state. Joy, peace, abundance is our natural state. But for the majority of us, we don't experience that state. And the question is why? Why do we live in a world of problems? When you're trying to solve your life or solve the problems of the world from the perspective of the world or the level of consciousness of the world, you'll get more problems. What you give out comes back. The world is Leela, or Maya illusion. Our challenge with reality is not reality as we perceive it. It's our perception of reality. See, when you take this dream, this Leela, this Maya, as real, and you identify with it, with all its conditions and problems and worries, then you are subject to suffering. You are subject to emotions. You are subject to all of the form. Now, as limitless awareness consciousness, you've got that choice to be limitless and identify with that, your true self, your true nature, or the limited, the form. So we will never solve any of our own problems or the problems of the world within the illusion. First, we have to recognize it is one. And when you start to perceive reality that it is an illusion and not real, suddenly you change everything. Wayne Dyer, my great teacher, one of my great teachers, once said, when you change the way you look at things, the things that you're perceiving change. This has been observed through scientific study as well. Studies in Japan years ago show that when we put emotion and thoughts and energy into water structures, they change through the projection. When you change the lens, and I'm looking into one right now, of how you see and perceive the world changes because the perception is different. And you can have anything you want. In fact, it is limitless. But in order to experience the limitless rather than the limited, perhaps you've been living a limited life and getting limited outcomes, you have to change the direction of your perception. When you change the direction of your perception and you tune into the limitless, well, that is the broadcast that you begin to receive. See, we're like huge antennas broadcasting and receiving. If we're tuned into the limited form, then we're going to get that signal back. We're going to get that station back. We're going to get the world as real and solid and as solidified as we believe it to be. But it's not real from the level of Leela or Maya. It becomes real because you believe that it is real. And the moment you disidentify with it being real and solid, you've changed the game. You've become and identified with your real, true nature, the limitless, joyful, abundant, loving, unlimited you. See, the more we practice this, the more we identify this, the freer we become. And you can have anything, you can create anything you want. But first you have to believe it. You have to drop one very narrow perception and tune into a much higher perception. When it comes to creating our reality, Dolores Cannon said this. I want you to watch this.
Focus on what you really want, because you can have anything. There are no limitations. The only limitations are what you put upon yourself. So if you decide you want to do something, first you have to know what you want. That's the hard part. People say, I want change, I want something different, but they don't know what they really want. You can't create it until you know what you want.
Right.
Once you know what you want, you can have anything. It's a law of the universe. You go with the laws of the universe. And it's very, very easy to do it once you get how it works. Because in my books they say, you don't know the power of your individual mind. You can focus on peace and harmony.
So what Dolores Cannon is sharing there, expressing there, is that we can have anything we want if we can perceive and believe it. First, we've got to know what we want. We've got to be clear. I invite you to take the desires out of the mind and to write them down. Take them out of this mind confused state that we so identify with and get very clear by writing it down. By writing it down, you're clearly creating your intention. Dolores Cannon said, first we've got to know what we want. Start to write out the life that you want to start living. Start to write it down. Start to reread over what you have recorded. I do this with technology now. I love technology because what I can do is I can even speak it into my phone through an audio recording, and then it'll put it all out into text for me, and I can pop it into my journal. I'm doing this all of the time. I'm getting out from my mind and getting recorded what I want, and then I'm rereading over it. I'm getting very clear about what I want because I know I'm creating it. I had a question from someone yesterday on YouTube that asked, is it divine destiny or are we creating it? I answer that question with both. There is divine destiny, but who is the divine? What is the divine force that operates and is pervasive throughout the whole cosmos? It is your true nature. It is beyond duality. And you might say, but I don't know how to understand that, Paul. I don't know how to understand that I am formless, limitless, that we are all one. The best analogy that ever helped me was the analogy that we are like the ocean. And if you were to, I don't have one to show you as an example, but if you were to pick up a glass or a cup and you were to fill that cup with a part of the ocean, that is what you are. That is what limitless consciousness is. It's not separate, although it becomes separate through this human body experience, but it is still essentially the ocean. It's the best analogy that I have heard to understand. And when the cup is empty, when the vessel has faded away, the ocean remains and returns back to join the rest. Now that is what your journey is like. For this time, for this experience, you have become limited or encased within a body and a mind. But you are not your body and you are not your mind. You are the essence, you are the ocean. You are pure divine consciousness. We're going to take a little break now and be back in a moment.
This year, on board Celebrity Equinox, internationally renowned researchers, authors, channelers, mystics, starseeds, and spiritual luminaries will sail on an extraordinary voyage of transformation in this one-of-a-kind Galactic Origins cruise. Voyage into the ancient Mayan land. Explore the latest cosmic revelations. Learn about our galactic heritage. Rediscover the hidden wisdom and Earth's true history as presented by our stellar guest speakers and teachers hailed from around the world. Exclusive offerings include engaging lectures, workshops, special events, one-on-one sessions, sacred fire ceremony, live music performances, custom-tailored excursions. And if that's not enough, how about celebrating winter solstice on December the 21st, 2024 with an extraordinary world peace meditation guided by guest speakers and teachers? Secure your participation now. With limited packages available, this is your chance to embark on a once-in-a-lifetime journey of discovery and transformation unlike any other. Reserve your place today before it's too late.
I want you to stay till the end of this broadcast today, because at the end I'm going to be selecting one of you to give you a copy, a free copy. I'm going to send it to you. Doesn't matter where you live in the world, I'll have it sent right to your home. A copy of my new book, Quantum Cellular Healing. A book that is based on the wisdom of Dolores Cannon. It describes the interconnectedness between our thoughts and our cellular reality. You might have illness in your body. When you change your thinking, you change your life. And this book contains all of the wisdom, not only from the greats like Dolores Cannon, but it also incorporates the wisdom and the knowledge of quantum physics and mechanics. It ties it together perfectly. So that will be a gift to any of you. And perhaps someone told me the other day they attracted a book because I sent them a copy of one of these books and they put it out and they manifested it. So maybe that will be you at the end of this broadcast. Now, when we give out thoughts, they go out. And where I'm broadcasting from is here in Australia. You probably tell by my accent, and okay, I'll say it, good day mates, as we tend to be known for saying around the world. Here within Australia, we have the most beautiful and ancient of all tribes in the world, the indigenous culture of Australia, the Australian Aborigines. And they invented a device which I think is pretty universally known now. Some of you may have not heard of it. And it is called the boomerang, and I have one here. The boomerang has many different purposes. One was ceremonial. Another was for hunting. And what the indigenous culture of Australia would do is they would send out the boomerang, and because of the design of the curvature, the boomerang would do a huge big swing and return to them. Why am I giving you this example? Is it just because I'm Australian and I want to talk about my culture because I love it? Well, that's one part of it. But I'm telling you this is because your thoughts are like boomerangs. When you send out your thoughts, they don't just come back to you the way you send it out. They come back to you with force and momentum and amplified. Every single thought that you're giving out, every word that you're speaking out there is creating your reality, is returning back to you. And it's not just returning back to you as you send it out, it's returning back amplified and with momentum. It's why our thoughts are so important, that we are sending out the right thoughts. Because when we send out negativity, guess what's going to come back? If you're speaking negatively about other people, you're going to have a whole lot of situations of negativity about you. Other people talking about you, other people just interacting in a negative way. So you are creating everything in your life, good, bad, or indifferent. And you get to choose what you get back in life by what you are giving out in life. Everything you're giving out is returning to you. See, when we become conscious of this, we wake up from this dream. We don't see the world as solid and real anymore. But we start to do what Dolores Cannon did and manipulate energy. Now I want you to listen to her say this right now.
Everything is energy. And the main lesson you're here on earth to do is to learn how to manipulate energy. And what does that mean? Create. You have to learn how to create. Once you figure that out, you can have anything. That's what we are. We are creators. We are manifestors.
There, Dolores Cannon said it. To learn how to create. How do we create? We're creating with our words and our thoughts. Every word, every thought is going out from you, and it's returning back to you with momentum. I've got some questions that have come through on email. I'm going to be reading some of those questions right now that Aaron will be giving to me. But if you have a specific question, we've got people in the chat that are there. Aaron's in the chat. We've got other people there. that are willing to answer any question that you have. If you've got a question about anything that I've spoken about today, let us know in the chat. We love when you engage. In fact, when you engage, you help us, because what happens is more people see the message. That is a way that you can contribute and help us get this message out by liking and sharing it and engaging in the chat. All of that really helps us get this message out to more people. Because I want this message to go out far and wide. I don't want that just so I can utilize all this equipment in studio. My vision, my goal, what I'm sending out like the boomerang, is goodness and wisdom and knowledge, because it is helping me build my own life. And see, when we do this with everything we do, when we have a interaction with somebody and we receive them without judgment, and we welcome and we embrace them, and we share our true nature, which is pure divine love. When we send out love, guess what we get back? Now, it may sound simplistic, right? But often we sit there in our own life and we say, well, I want love and I want the right relationship. But we aren't giving that out to others. This is this understanding. Everything that goes out is coming back. What Dolores Cannon says, you've got to learn how to create your life. And when we don't understand that we create our life, we tend to send out negativity and pessimism, and we identify with all the stuff that we don't want. We give our attention to all of the stuff that we don't want, and we wonder why we get all of that stuff back. So you don't get what you want, you get what you are. You get what you're putting out. You get what you focus on, and what you focus on is going to expand and become the conditions of your life. This is what it truly means to learn how to manipulate energy, to become masterful, to become a master manifester and creator, the way Dolores Cannon beautifully articulated it. And you can really have anything you want, but first you've got to be clear about what that is. So writing it down, creating intention, is the best way to do it. Now we've got a question. Aaron, bring up that question right now on the screen. What are some of the practical techniques to use for the law of attraction? Great question, John, and joining there from beautiful Vancouver. Probably the most powerful practice I'm aware of is the practice of gratitude. Now, you might create a gratitude list or a gratitude journal, or however you want to have a practice of gratitude. I use a gratitude rock that I hold, and every time I have something to be grateful for, I hold that rock to remind me. Before I go to sleep at night, I hold the rock in my hand, and I'm grateful for the most and the best thing that happened that day. The best thing that happened, the best experience that happened for me in that day. And the first thing as I wake up in the morning, I hold the rock again, and I send out an intention of gratitude of everything that I want to create for the day. See, why is gratitude powerful? Why do so many people, even in mainstream, talk about gratitude journals and the importance of gratitude? They understand that what we give out comes back. When you send out a vibration of gratitude, you get more, that's right, to be grateful for. More experiences, more things that you can be grateful for. It's why gratitude is so important. See, when we're grateful, we take our perspective off what we don't have, and put it on what we do have. And by changing our perspective, we're sending out gratitude, we're sending out thanks, we get on a different frequency, a different broadcast, and we begin to get mirrored back from the universe more of that. Things to be grateful for, circumstances, places, parking spots when you're looking for them, synchronicities showing up in your experience, because you are creating everything in your reality. It's changing the channel. It's tuning out the negativity. It's choosing out the pessimism that we all can easily identify if we're not having practices like gratitude in our life that keep us on track. It's a great question. Thanks for asking that, John. A second answer to that question is meditation. Meditation is going within, dropping the mind, and often we watch it kind of dissolve when we disidentify with it. And it's identifying with what I call the I am, or the infinite awareness, you beyond form. Now you are the I am. Great wisdom traditions have spoken about the I am for centuries. In the Bible it says, I am that I am. The moment that you attach as I am awareness, whatever you're going to say next, you become that. So I am, yes, we all are, that question that we ask, who am I? I am. But the moment that you attach something to that, I am depressed, I am sick, I am poor, I am unlovable, whatever you put to it, you become that. And that is why it's so important to drop anything that comes after it. Now, sure, in the positive sense, we might adopt some things like I am peace, I am love, I am joy. Now, they're things you want to bring more of into your life. So yes, identify with them, but dropping the attachments to all of the stuff that you don't want and identifying with what you do want. See, we get what we think about. We get what we say. We get what we focus on. If you've got to pull yourself up many times a day, that's okay. You're learning, you're rewiring your brain. You're rewiring your conditioning. And you're doing it differently. When you do it differently, you get differently. All right, let's go to the next question. Julie asks, how do I stay positive and maintain belief when manifestations aren't showing up? So Julie, this is a really common one. We gotta identify with what we want. So you move out of a place of creating what you want when you start to identify with what you don't want. So when we start to identify with what we don't want, which is the absence of what we want, then we are creating that. And we're undoing the positive intention. You have to have a faith and a knowingness. Let me tell you, when you move from a place of faith to belief to know, and at that highest point, if you reach it, to know, it's yours. Whenever you know something in your life, there's nobody that can convince you otherwise. You know that you know it. It's everything that is coming out of you. It's your attitude, it's your thoughts, it's your vibration, it's your energy. The universe must every time match your vibration. It can't do it any other way. It's responding to you, the limitless awareness, the limitless consciousness. The universe is responding to you every time. It's responding to the negativity, if that's what you're admitting, and is the predominance of your thoughts. And if you're having a predominance of positive thoughts, then it is bringing that to you. So Julie, when we try to, just trying, often that's the energy that we put out, Julie, is trying to manifest. And we've got a strong emotion around it and fear and all this stuff coming up. And when we do that, we're getting back more fear, more worry, more stress. Lester Levinson said this great quote. I want to read it to you. You can have anything you want. And Lester Levinson, by the way, is one of my great teachers. He's taught me so much on letting go and creating reality, creating my reality. You can have anything you want, providing first you let go of wanting it. This is the missing part of the law of attraction that many people miss. You have to be willing to let it go. Through letting it go, you release all resistance. See, by us holding on to something, I must get it, we're resisting. When the energy of the universe is ease and flow. Manifestation, when done right, is not an effort. It is effortless in its nature, its flow, its rhythm. We resist by holding on. I spoke about this earlier in the live stream. What we resist, the great Carl Jung taught us that what we resist persists. Whatever you are attaching to, you are holding on to, and you're causing the delays. Lester Levinson said you can have anything you want. That is not a question. As limited person, persona, body, mind, no, sure, you're limited to your life circumstances, experience, social class, whatever is the form identity. But the limitless awareness, if you identify with that, you can have what Lester said. And that is anything you want, anything that you desire, you can have. But first, the rule or the law is you've got to be willing to let it go. Why does it require us to let it go? Because when we let it go, we allow it to come to us. See, this is how everything in this reality works. With emotions, with holding on to unforgiveness, to everything. First, you have to let it go in order for it to flow. And when life starts to flow for you, you are free. You are identified with the I am, the infinite aspect of who you are. And we all are. That is where miracles occur. That is where abundance is manifested and realized, because we aren't resisting it. Anytime you're holding on to anything, you are resisting this flow. You are resisting this limitless awareness in which you are beyond the physical form. If this resonates with you today and you feel inspired to be a part of this exciting new journey that we're doing, and we're doing these at different times live to help people get the message during an appropriate time. So there are different times for these broadcasts depending on what part of the world you are. Some of you are in London, England, and some of you are down here in Australia, and some of you are in North America and through the Pacific and through Mexico and the South American countries. But we will broadcast these for you to get them according to your time zone. So you can be checking in here and on Instagram, Paul Williams Official. You'll find more detailed information over on there. And please like and subscribe to this channel if it's resonating with you, if you've just scrolled through on the feed and this sounds like the life you want to live. You want to be free from all of that. negativity, then this is the channel for you. But if you feel that you want to join this community, you want to volunteer, you want to help us, you even want to give and help us build more and do more with this studio, here's an opportunity for you to give. See, what we give, we get back. And I can't do this work alone. We've got a little small team, me and Aaron and others that are joining. But we're growing this. We're becoming a force for good. Because what we give out is coming back. And you're going to be so blessed in your own life as you sow a seed, as you invest in something that is doing good. So I give you that opportunity. And if there's anything that we can do to support you, to encourage you, we want to be there for you. So we got people that you can connect with. We're creating community. We're creating a place for people to come, to learn, to heal, and to become the best version of themselves. So you can email me at paul@pwilliamsofficial. That's on the chat right now, with any requests or any way that we can support you. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you again really soon. And please subscribe here on YouTube. Please follow on Paul Williams Official on Instagram for all of the latest updates. I'm sending you love. And I'm thanking you for spending this time really for yourself. I'll see you next time.